Welcome to the Best You podcast, where we explore the journey of inner peace, harmony, and joy that comes from living authentically. Every week, we will dive into transformative conversations that describe both the way you can create behavioral change for yourself and how to create the conditions that promote peace, harmony, and joy around you. Whether you're seeking balance, deeper relationships, or a spark of inspiration, you're in the right place.
Hello and welcome to The Best You. I'm excited to have all of you here with us today. And Sanna and I as we were preparing today, I think we've got a very special topic. I know it's one near and dear to my heart. And I know Sanna is very passionate about it. And it's the topic of peace, harmony, and joy with a purpose. And you might ask, why is that so exciting to us? What you should appreciate is the book that I wrote with Yossi Lehrman, the book Less Stress, More Joy, which has sold a lot of copies, which led to the organization of the Peace, Harmony, and Joy Alliance. It's got a lot of great tips in there about how to live your best you, your life with others in a more peaceful, harmonious, joyful manner. And we truly believe that everybody has in them this ability to have joy many times throughout the day, most of the day. But it's like a habit. It's like a muscle. You need to learn how to use it and learn how to develop it. The funny thing about that book is it led to a lot of questions. And one of the questions that we got the most was, is joy the goal, or is there something more? And when you think of joy, you think of like being happy, you think of fun, you think of just enjoying things. But if you think about it, it could be by yourself, it could be with others, but it could be, kind of, meaningless type of experience. And the question is there something more than just going for this joyful feeling in whatever you're doing? And what we've just published in our latest book, Your True Greatness Awakened, we believe it's joy is in all of us, and we all have the right and the ability to have it, again, many times throughout the day. But we think there's something even bigger and better that we all have the ability to do, and that's joy with a purpose. And so the thing about it is, again, it's great for you to feel good and great for you to have fun and be happy and enjoy everything you're doing. But it's so much better when you're doing it when you're helping others, and that's what we believe we're all here on this planet to do. We all have special gifts, talents, interests, and when we realize what our purpose is, and we go for it, and we're joyful, what we call that's our true greatness. And so today we want to talk about joy with a purpose, our true greatness. And the last thing I'll simply say is it's not just joy with a purpose, but it's also a purpose with joy. It's like a math equation: joy plus purpose equals your true greatness, but also purpose plus joy equals true greatness. Because I think we all know a lot of people, or at least I know a lot of people that are living their purpose. They could be doctors, they could be firemen, they could be. There's just so many things they're doing to help others, but they're not happy. They're drained, and I would just simply say that that's not what life's about. And it's great that they're helping people, but the question is, the goal is, can they find joy in those things? And can they live their true greatness? So I'm going to stop there. Sana, what are your initial thoughts on this?
Well, it's so interesting, and I haven't thought about this in much depth, Scott. So thanks for bringing this up. One of my first questions is why would somebody be living their purpose, or what are the circumstances that they're living their purpose but without joy? Because to me, if it's their true purpose, then it would feel, at least to a great degree, joyful. And is it because it's not really their true purpose? Or is it because they're out of alignment with the rest of their life? Or is it because they're doing it at the expense of themselves or their other parts of their life? What's your thoughts on that?
It's a great point. So you would think if you're living your purpose, your true purpose, almost by default, you'd be living with joy. I think what happens is, I think it gets down to stress and anxiety. I think some people that are really, truly living their purpose are so concerned about the other people. They're concerned about making sure everything is done right. They're concerned about, what's happening to the people when they're not, when they're not right in their vicinity. They're worried about getting all this work done. I mean, there's just all this anxiety I think these people have to just get it right because it's so important to them. And again, you on the one hand, you can't fault these people. In fact, you almost applaud these people because they are so committed to their purpose and they make this world such a better place. However, I know many people that are sick that literally have physical ailments, and it even maybe even some mental issues. But they're sick because it's just kind of just physically, mentally impacting them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it sounds like really just lack of good boundaries. Like they're giving too much of themselves and not being realistic, not taking care of themselves, doing more than is healthy or efficient. Um, I do know that for people with a calling or with callings, that they could be taken advantage of, like because people are so passionate about it that people might expect too much of them, including themselves, I guess. How would you say a calling is different from a purpose, or or a true purpose? Would you say they're the same thing?
I think they're similar enough. Yeah, I mean, I think that again, if you can find your calling, I would say that you're probably finding your purpose. But I think you've hit on something. There's a lot of reasons why these people are not feeling joy, and I think sometimes it is because people are taking advantage of them. I think some of these people are working for other people, and they're just asked to work extraordinary hours or extraordinary deadlines. I mean, just things that are not seemingly realistic, and you could think, well, maybe they need to put some boundaries on that. Maybe they need to talk to some people. That's I think that's accurate, but I also think and I'll think the simple way to look at it is that apply the peace, harmony, joy approach, because I think almost all these instances when I've talked to these people, I mean their heads are spinning, they're just physically not feeling good. I mean, there's just all this stuff going on, and it gets back to, if you want to live a joyful life, if you truly want to feel good about things, I mean, you've just got to find peace. You've got to find the calm. You just got to like just put yourself in a place, just get away from all this stuff for a moment and just remind yourself that you are blessed. And again, maybe taking a nature walk, it may be talking to your God, it may be doing meditation or yoga, but find something that you can calm down, because when you do that, then you can start to do what you're talking about, to think about like what's really going on here and how can I handle. That's the harmony part. Like there's all these different ways that we can make things better.
Yeah. Because I do feel that underneath there's some sort of fear-based narrative that's going on that might be outside of one's awareness, such as, I'm not going to be safe if I don't do this. I'm not going to be loved. I'm going to be abandoned. I'm not going to get what I need, or I don't, or other people's needs are more important than mine. Like these are fear beliefs that we adopt at some point in our life as a form of protection due to it could be like a small t trauma, um, often from our caregivers. And we then adopt a belief and then a coping mechanism that tends to serve us until we feel enslaved to that belief and protecting ourselves in light of that belief. And a lot of this is very much under the radar, beneath our awareness. And this is when I want to say heal thyself, because a lot of frontline workers are doing really thankless and challenging work. It could be physically laborious, emotionally laborious, and doing so as part of their calling, but also a sense of a need for inner completion, which can have beautiful results, but maybe at great personal expense. So I hope those that are doing such beautiful service can understand that taking care of themselves at the deepest level can bring the best outcome and result for everybody, because then they can be serving at their best instead of at great self-sacrifice.
Yeah, no, I think you hit it on the head that I think so much of the anxiety and stress and taking advantage of whatever you want to call it is fear-based. And interestingly, in our book again, Your True Greatness Awakened, the premise we have is, and if you even look on the cover, we have the at the top of a pyramid we have soul, at the bottom we have ego, and purpose is in the middle. And so we believe everything that you're talking about, fear and so many other things, insecurities, and it's ego driven. And the funny thing about ego is, um, I think everybody can point to other people that have egos. Most people don't think they have an ego, but the truth of the matter is we all have egos. And you could think, well, that's not nice or that's not right. But the thing is, ego is what actually it's actually a good thing. Ego, if in the right proportions, ego is what's keeps us alive. If you think about thousands of years ago, ego is what kept your ancestors alive. When they had to outrun saber-tooth tigers or had to go find food and had to win wars and whatever it is to stay alive. I mean, ego is the thing that really helps you to survive. The thing about ego, though, it sometimes doesn't know when enough's enough, and that's the thing that causes all the anxiety. But the reason we have soul at the top of the pyramid is that if you connect with your soul, and again, your soul is going to know your purpose, but the soul is also going to know the answers. I mean, soul is your connection with either your God or the universe or whatever you want to call it, but the soul is something that's in you, and it doesn't worry for your safety because it knows that you'll figure it out. The universe will tell you what you need to do. It doesn't worry about being loved because it knows you're loved. You're loved all the time. In fact, it also loves everybody else around you, and all the things that people with money, like, doesn't worry about money. It knows you'll have enough money. You'll figure it out. But ego worries about money, 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 and power and power and power, and then doesn't know when enough's enough. And so I think that's kind of fundamental to this whole thing is if you can connect with your soul and just calm down and trust that everything's gonna be okay, then you can find the peace. Your soul will help you find your harmony, and in fact, will let you be in the moment and truly experience the joy that goes with all the things you're doing with your purpose.
Yeah. And just an elaboration. So ego is not the same as egotistical. So egotistical has a bad flavor to it. And it could feel like there's something wrong with that. And there is, but ego is more about your sense of identity, your sense of you as a separate being from other people and other things. So, and you're right that when it's out of balance, in the sense that maybe I go from feeling, having good boundaries and that I'm a unique person to, oh my God, I'm all alone. I'm under threat. I'm not safe. I need to compete in order to survive. That's the imbalance. And with respect to the soul conversation, I love that, Scott. That's really so important. That soul is just so wise and also is immortal. Our souls, I believe that. Maybe everybody doesn't believe that, but our souls are immortal and always part of creation. And while I fortunately haven't had to test the theory of will I have enough money and so on and so forth, but there are some people in this world that truly won't have enough money, and they may not have a home, and they may not have health care and all of these things. So so that's that's the reality for much of the world. They may be bombed or shot at or attacked. So what do you say there, Scott?
Yeah. Well, I say that what we say in our book is ego is a good thing when used properly. And we believe that the goal is to have peace, harmony, and joy with the purpose is to have your ego and your soul working together. And again, if you've got no money or you're being shot at, you do need your ego to help you to survive. But if it works with your soul, then your soul will help you to figure out, like, all right, where can you get money? Where can you get food? Where can you hide? and it'll help get you the answers. So what we believe is ego plus soul is really truly leads to your true greatness. And but it's being aware that both are important and how they work together. And we actually give a lot of examples in the book, real life stories of where the ego and the soul have worked together in situations where you're like thinking like this is terrible. This is going to end up in a really bad, and then all of a sudden, and that's the ego pointing things out, and then the soul comes up with these amazing answers. And so the ego's pointing things out, worrying, doing its job, and then the soul's come up with magical answers when you trust it.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer. And I also found for myself that by saying to myself, what do I need to learn to get through this? Like just being in the reality of the situation helps me better to cope with it and to prevail and surmount it. And that there's usually a lesson from my point of view, even if it means being patient or trusting or knowing that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional, that I don't have to suffer if I'm feeling pain or fear. So very good.
Yeah, that's huge. And again, the ego is always trying to avoid anything bad to the human being. I mean, that's just it's its job. The soul thinks everything is good. So the ego's worried about bad. Soul thinks everything is good, including everything that happens that seems bad has actually got a lesson in it. Everything, if you pay attention, and that's what we're trying to teach in this book, Your True Greatness Awakened. That there is no need to worry. And in fact, if you believe that everything is for a reason and everything's going to work out, and you pay attention, again, you can stay calm, you can stay peaceful, harmony, you can connect because your soul will help you connect all the dots and everything you need. And you can be in the moment with it. You can truly enjoy everything you're doing, even things that seem bad at the time.
Yeah. And for me, sometimes it's like a real process because I think most days I am very peaceful and it takes a lot more to rock my boat than it used to. I think I might have been called high strung in the past, maybe, but still there are some times where I have to just keep bringing myself back into that space. And there's some days it just takes more effort. And I think that's also very natural because some things can touch us at a much deeper level and take us more effort to get back into our center, our peaceful center of gravity.
No, I agree. And I also think I like what you said, how you used to be this way and now you're this, now you're a more peaceful person. I believe we're all on these journeys. And so some people are like, that's not my personality, or I can never do that. The truth of the matter is you can do better. I'm not going to say you're going to be the most perfectly peaceful person, the most joyful person. But the question is, can you do 1% better tomorrow or next week or even next year? I mean, if you work on it, can you just be 1% better? I mean, can you be a little better? And the funny thing about it is everybody can. And then if you can do that, can you be 1% better the next day or the next week? And then 1% better. And so you just got to break it down. So I don't think you or me are the way we are because one day we just flipped a switch. No, we've worked hard on ourselves and little by little we've gotten better.
And we also know that when we work towards something, it feels more rewarding and satisfying when we make the progress. So just know that effort also benefits us as well.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing. By the way, a lot of people like to think of overnight successes, which I think if you look at these people, there's really not such a thing. The real world, if you really truly want to be successful, it takes effort and it takes time, and it's very rewarding when you apply yourself.
Well, this is a great topic, Scott.
Yeah, I agree, Sanna, and enjoyed talking about it. And I think we're gonna build on this. But again, to our listeners and our viewers, we just we think so much of you. We know you've got so much in you, and we look forward to helping you on your joyful journey. So, joyful journey with a purpose.
Absolutely. Happy travels, everybody. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Best You podcast. We hope today's conversation sparked some new ways for you to cultivate your inner peace, connect meaningfully with others, and embrace the joy of living in harmony. Remember, being the best version of yourself isn't a destination. It's a daily practice of growth, reflection, and kindness to yourself and those around you. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love it for you to subscribe, share it with somebody who'd benefit, and leave a review to help us spread the message of peace and joy. Stay connected, stay inspired, and we'll see you next time on The Best You.